Hey friends, Peggy Hall back with you from thehealthyamerican.org with my continuing coverage on this disaster in Hawaii. I have noticed that YouTube is starting to freeze my comments when I use certain words together. So I have to be, again, I have to outwit the nitwits, which is why I have some of my own code words. Also, there is a live update going on right now from Green New Deal and Bison. So I'm going to keep this video a little short in case you want to hop on over. I've been looking at KITV that comes up. I'm seeing it right here on my YouTube channel, or I'm on my YouTube feed. And also there's Hawaii News Now, and there's also KHON2. I've seen those are the news stations that I've been following the footage on. You know, I rarely ever watch the news, and it's so interesting to me to see how they are covering this and the angles that they're taking. But wait until I show you the angle of this Mayor Richard Bison. Let me grab an image here for you. And this came up from a very recent interview that I'm going to play for you. And I did forget to enlarge the video last time, so I will do that for you this time. And I will also have a link in case you want to watch the video. So there he is with that nice hand position. My savvy subscribers understand that signs and symbols are used by these public serpents. You should study their different logos, their insignias. I like to see what they're wearing, and I'm looking at their hand position. You may say, and it could be true, that that's just a position, a gesture that he's using because he's nervous, or that's just how he's speaking. But you will see this again and again, and you can even do an internet search using that image, and you will see the public serpents that use that. And that comes from the different, let's just say, puppet masters and so forth along the way. And it could be totally innocuous, or it could be sending a signal. And here's another image of him right here giving one of his press conferences. And there's the chief of police, the police chief right there that I'll be covering him in an upcoming video. There is the fire guy. I don't even know what to call him because he certainly was not acting like a chief. And then look at this little guy. Oh, how cute. Like the little PewDiePie. Like, is that weird? That's another symbol of the evildoers. It is when you put your finger over your mouth, you are saying that you have a secret and that you are not telling the truth. Even if he's not in the New World Disorder and the WEFers and the United Nations and a puppet for the evildoers, even if he's not that, and he's just some guy that really believes what he's peddling, isn't that a weird position to take? Any person who studies body language would tell you that that is not a position of confidence and authority and truthfulness. And there have been many, I just grabbed this, but I've seen many images where this Josh Green New Deal has had his finger over his mouth. I find that very troubling. So this is who we're going to talk about, Richard Bison. He just got into office in 2023. And prior to him coming to office, he was a judge in Hawaii. And if you have any, if you've been following any of my lawsuits, you know what I think about judges in the courtrooms. Yeah, how trustworthy they are. Very interesting. Anyway, that's who this fellow is. And let's just play a little video of him being interviewed, and you're going to hear exactly what he talks about. Listen for the words pride, right? They always like to say that there's a lot of pride. And then they also will talk about resiliency and, you know, the build back better. All of those are the code words for this new world disorder, as I call it. And then at the very end, I want to show you the website that he had when he was running for mayor. And he very clearly talks about how he wants to create toll booths for tourists. He wants to limit the entry and exit, and not just how you get in and out, but actually the time that cities are open on Maui. I don't know if it's for everyone or just for the tourists, but talk about discrimination. What happened to inclusivity? So this is moving in the wrong direction, in my opinion. Let me queue up this video. I will have a link for you below. I will unplug my audio, and I will also increase the size. And again, you can always watch this on your own if you don't catch it the first time. So here we go.
Yes, frustration and pride. What Maui Mayor Richard Bisson says he's feeling on a daily basis. Howard Dashevsky is joining us from Maui. Howard, you say the mayor says there is no time for exhaustion.
And just for the record, they're always using the same image to embed it into your mind. The melted tires, the blown out windows, which doesn't normally happen. And then I don't know when this image was taken. It looks like it was very recent because in terms of it happened right during the aftermath of the fire, because look at the sky, how that's still so gray, yet you've got these green trash cans that are unmelted. They just put it right in your face. Absolutely put it in your face. All right, here we go.
Jen.
Yeah. Absolutely not, Bridget. You're right about that. These folks are working so hard, and he says someday they'll all take a pause, but that day is not here. Of course, we've seen the mayor at all the press concerts.
I like that. All the press concerts. Yes, they are putting on a performance. I know this sound is not as good, but I just wanted to make my comment. Yes, the press concerts, just like they're putting on a performance.
Conferences with the governor and all the other officials. Today I had a chance to go one-on-one with him and get a little bit of time and some of his deeper thoughts. And I started by asking him if this incident, this disaster that started a week ago today, has even begun to sink in.
No. I think many of us feel so fortunate for those that we have been able to reunite with their families. Can't imagine the ones.
There's the symbolism again.
That are still looking for family. That's really our main focus right now. So we won't relax until we have gotten everybody at least some closure. That's our main focus.
Mayor Bisson also spoke about the immediate reaction to the fires, not by the government, but by private citizens.
I couldn't be prouder.
They're so proud.
You know, when we talk about, we can talk about the broader group volunteering, but what I'm looking at are our own county workers, especially our firefighters. I think the report is 25 of our firefighters lost their own homes in the fire, and they continued, the fight.
But for all the
Okay, 25 firefighters lost their own homes, which is so tragic. I heard reports that the firefighters were protecting their own homes. None of the eyewitnesses said that they saw any firefighters on the scene. He doesn't say that we still have not had a number of people, number of crews, number of trucks. He just says how sad that they lost their homes.
The mayor also recognizes there is great frustration that the government could not meet the moment for everybody.
The first frustration is having to close the road. So many power lines were down. There's so much toxicity at the site. So the biggest frustration has been from the community getting in, and from the administration side is trying to open it in a way where people can respect the cleanup. Before the cleanup, actually, the recovery of remains, and then eventually getting rid of any toxic material, hazardous material, and then, of course, allowing us to get people back to their properties.
And when it comes to accusations, the county, the state, even the federal government has been anything less than honest and forthcoming.
I understand people are frustrated. I understand people try to sensationalize this tragedy.
Does he seem distraught to you at all? Is there any kind of remorse or regret? He is the top serpent in that county. He's responsible for this island. Is there any kind of remorse, regret, sorrow, prayers, distress? I'm not seeing that at all. He seems rather bored with this interview.
I understand that there are opportunists who try to use this as a platform to speak out about something that might be frustrating them. The part I do think people are talking about is that they weren't getting communication. We were putting it out, but it wasn't being received.
Oh, you were putting out communication, but it wasn't being received. You were putting out those 80 sirens on the island and they weren't being heard. People couldn't hear those 80 sirens that you put out. They couldn't hear the police and the other maybe firemen that were driving through the streets with a bullhorn telling them to evacuate. That was the communication they didn't receive. I'm confused here, Bisson. We'll continue here. Let's see if I can get this going now. I had a little freeze.
We understand there was no power, there was no transmission, there was no internet, there was no emails. Should we have gone out with megaphones and trucks and advised people, looking back on it now, maybe that would have worked?
Oh, this guy, what do you think of him? A+ Serpent? Is he like the right man for the job? Apparently, the job they gave him.
Finally, on the future of Lahaina, long after his term as mayor is over.
I see opportunity. I see hope. I see a new, a reinvigorated town.
I see opportunity. I see hope. I see an invigorated town.
I think this is a discussion that has to.
Did you hear that? He cleared his throat. Sometimes that's a tell. Sometimes that means that he doesn't believe what he's saying. Not always. He could have had a little sore throat, what have you. But often when somebody starts doing that, it's because they're not believing what they're saying. It's literally difficult for them to eke it out. Let's listen a little bit here.
I think this is a discussion that has to happen with our folks that are from Lahaina. Thankfully, I think it'll all be built around the banyan tree that is still there. So we'll have that constant reminder of Lahaina as it was. But I think, opportunity is what I see.
Opportunity is what I see.
Forget about that banyan tree, Bridget.
Okay, so this was actually from the governor's website itself. And this was embedded, I'm sorry, not the governor, the mayor of Maui. And so let me play this for you start to finish. Here we go.
Tragedy that hits one of us is felt by all of us. These past few days, the resolve of our families, businesses, and visitors have been tested like never before in our lifetime. With lives lost and properties decimated, we are grieving with each other during this inconsolable time. We are truly grateful for our first responders and emergency personnel whose own families and friends have been affected by the Lahaina and upcountry fires. Our Emergency Operations Center has been fully activated, and we are fortunate to be able to work together with our federal, state, county, and business partners as we make our way through this crisis. Even though we are hurting, we are still able to move forward, especially when we do it together. In the days ahead, we will be stronger as a kaya ulu, or community, as we rebuild with resilience and aloha.
All right. What do you think about them apples? I think them are pretty rotten apples. Let me show you a couple of things here, which you probably saw. First of all, this is weird. Look at everything in these. Oh, the buffering is just really a lot. Look at these news clippings. All right. He is in the Office of Emergency Management. He is the emergency management commander, apparently, because he's the mayor. And this MEMA is the Maui Emergency Management Agency, which apparently everybody was asleep on the job, even though there was a red fire warning and there were so-called up to 80 mile an hour winds from a hurricane that was 500 miles offshore. And they had all the brush that hadn't been cleared. They had had fires previously in this area. 2018 was a pretty bad fire, and they did not take the right actions. So I find this very strange that there are all of these news clippings of other horrible emergencies, yet this guy was asleep at the wheel, and he's trying to show as though he's in charge now with all of this emergency management stuff. He said that we're going to move forward together. That's another one of their code words of the New World Disorder, and that he's going to rebuild with resilience. So I found all of that very strange. All right. The last thing that I want to share with you, and then I'm going to start watching that live news conference as well, is I wanted to show you, if I've got this queued up here, the website where, hang on a second. Oh my goodness, where he, I might have to do this in an upcoming video. Friends, why don't I do that? I will do a part 2 on this bison because I don't want to keep you waiting to watch that live news concert, as they're calling it now. So I will share with you later his website. Actually, I better do it because give me a moment, friends. On the replay, we will get rid of some of this. I'll make it a little easier for you. But what I wanted to show you among all of my windows that I have open is the mayor has his own website where when he was running for mayor. So let me just cue that up for you right here. So he called his election campaign Bison Movement. All right. And this is when he was running for mayor, and he was just selected and started his term in January of 2021. So I started doing a little digging, and I wanted to find out what he was all about. I told you that he was a judge for many years, and the primary focus is prosperity for all residents of Maui County. Kama'aina prosperity, which means long timers, those who are not Hawaiian, necessarily Hawaiian born, but long timers, old timers, those that are kind of local to Hawaii. So I started going in here, and this is where I found that this guy is a WEFer, hook, line, and sinker. So we're going to look at the environmental resilience. There's that word again. And that's what he wants to work on. So there's your sustainability right there, diversification, and tourism solutions. Immediately implement restricted and limited times to travel in and out of Hana, which is one city that people like to travel to. It's the road to Hana. It's a kind of a treacherous road. I've been on it myself. Toll booth for tourists to be added later. I think that is kind of strange. So let me go back, because there's another thing that I want to show you that I thought was also very interesting. So then he's got the housing for all Maui County's residents. Create an inventory of lands where most can agree to have housing projects built. Here we are. Use county Build Back Better funds to install infrastructure such as water and sewage into the Kama'aina, the locals' housing projects. So there you have it. Build Back Better. Now they also want more of the ADUs so people can build more housing on their own property. And I just found that very, very interesting. So I can leave a link for you, friends, if you want to dive in a little more. That enough gave me the insights that he is onto the sustainability, hook, line, and sinker. I'm very concerned for the islands, for the people, for the Kama'aina. And I pray that this is going to be an opportunity for the Hawaiians to put a stop and to come together and to not allow any further taking of their land and using it in a way that the government wants. All right, friends, thank you for sticking with me. I know there were a couple of little bufferings and freezing here, and I'm going to continue my coverage tomorrow and the upcoming days. And right now I'm going to hop on over to one of those Hawaiian news stations for their live press concert, as one of the newscasters referred to it. I really appreciate you being on board. Grateful for your comments, grateful for your support and your discernment. All right. See you soon, everybody, in an upcoming broadcast.